Okay, so now we're gonna get. I mean, those were the five major terrain features. Now we're gonna go into the three minors, and I personally feel that. I mean, they're a minor for a reason, but outside of the majors, like especially when it comes to hunting, these minors are they're paramount as far as being able to traverse and being able to find animals. So when you're looking for a draw on a map, this is the biggest thing is if to know the difference between a draw and a spur, which we'll get to next, is you can see on this screenshot pretty much dead center, you can see the ridge line there. There's I think 4 hilltops in a row. On both sides of it, there's draws. What you'll notice is the contour lines, where a draw is depicted, the contour lines are pointing up to the hilltop. So you can see the circle on the top that I have, that's circled. If you look at the contour line, it's pointing towards the hilltop. That draw is going to be usually your steepest, nastiest, darkest spot that you want to try to avoid walking through, if possible, because it usually takes a lot of time to get out of those. I remember I've been through some of the military's harder land navigation courses that the military has to offer, and it's like a common term for everybody to say you can get caught in a draw monster for 3 hours if you're not careful. Like you get in a draw, sometimes they get so thick depending on where you're at that you actually are getting caught up in it, and when you get caught up in it, you're getting your orientation is getting spun off track, and sometimes you'll pop back out on the same side that you entered. So I would avoid draws at all costs, but then there's some huge benefits to draws when finding animals. I know looking for Roosevelt elk, especially on the coast and out here in Washington, the Roosevelt elk like to live in the bottoms of these draws. And sometimes in the bottoms of these draws, they will widen out a little bit, but they're dark, they're nasty. There's usually old growth timber in there because the loggers couldn't get to it, and it's just a spot and it's cool. But it's also another benefit too for people. Like obviously you'll see on the map there's water, it shows water. But it's a place to look for too. Like if you're in a position where you absolutely need water, like head to a draw and just kind of trace that draw down to the bottom. And a lot of times you'll find supplemental creeks down in there as well for procuring water. But big thing to look for on the map, contour wise for a draw, is your contour lines are going to point up towards the hilltop. That's your draw.
Yeah, as you were describing it as, I believe you said, a draw monster, I had flashbacks to a couple outpack outs where at the time we were like, oh, we'll just head down to the bottom of this draw and follow that out. And it was certainly not the best route to go. So yeah, I found that amusing.